Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today is going to be another trying to fix video. Another video where I've bought something faulty off eBay and I do my best to repair it. So as you can see here, we have another PlayStation 3. So this is the third one that I'm doing. I bought 3 of these from the one seller. It was a job lot of 3 for £28 for all 3. So that's less than £10 each. Now I'm not going to tell you what happened on the first one or the second one because you might want to watch them. So now we're going to be trying to fix this third one. I might be lucky, I might be unlucky. I'm not going to know. I've only just taken it out of the box and I bought these back in, I think it was June. So this is the first time I've seen it, and annoyingly this has only got 2 USB ports down the bottom here. So as far as I know, this is not going to be backwards compatible with the PlayStation 2. So I'm not going to give away what happened in the second one, but the second one was a backwards compatible model. So let's plug this in and see if we get anything. So apparently these are all supposed to power up, the discs are supposed to work on them, but on none of them they were supposed to have the display, so they're going to have problems displaying on the TV. So let's plug this one in and see what happens. So they didn't come with any controllers or power cables or anything like that, but luckily I've already got all of that stuff. So I'm going to plug in the AV and the HDMI and we're going to see if anything happens on screen. So I'm going to turn it on at the back. Okay, so we have a little red light here, which is good. Just here. So now let's turn it on. Okay, it doesn't want to turn on. But it doesn't want to eject either, so maybe... Oh yes, it does, right. Okay, that's not necessarily a good sign at all. Okay, that's not great. Let's put a disc in and see what it does. Oh, it's turned on now, and it's turned straight off again. Right, okay. My TV's gone into standby. Let's just wait until it stops flashing red. Well, this is definitely a different fault than the last two anyway, so I suppose it makes it more interesting. It's still flashing red. I don't know whether it's just going to keep on flashing red or not. No, it's just still flashing red. Right, okay, let's turn it off at the back. Back on again. And this time let's try to start it purely with the disc. Right, it's gone to green. And did it go to yellow then flashing red? I'll have to have a close look. Green. I'm not sure if it went slightly lighter green than to red, I don't know. But anyway, it's just flashing red, so I really haven't got a clue what that means. So let's turn it off at the back. Let's see if this one's got a hard drive in it, because the second one I got didn't have any hard drive in it. So let's just have a little look around here. Let's take out all the cables. I'm going to have to Google what the flashing red light means because I don't know. Maybe it means overheating. So let's just pop this out here. And let's see if there's anything in here. Looks like there is. Looks like there is a hard drive, which is good. And also the seals are intact as well. So that's also good. Yeah, we got a hard drive there, and it is a 40 gigabyte one. Let's pop that back in, and I'll just show you the model number down the bottom as well. Model number is, if you have a look here, CECHG03, this one here. Right, so I'm going to Google what flashing red light means. So I googled it, and apparently a flashing red light means it's overheating. So that's not a bad thing, because a lot of the solutions are just to hoover it all out or to reapply thermal paste. But the very fact that it's happening so quick says to me that it's probably more than just the fact that it's not getting enough circulation, especially as when you look around here, it's not clean, but it's not full of dust even. The vents look clear. A lot of forums were saying that it's the start of the failure of the GPU or the CPU. Also read that it could be a power supply. If it was a power supply, that might not be a bad thing, because I might be able to just swap it out. Again, I think it's probably going to be, a lot of the solutions were to heat up the motherboards, you know, heat up those chips to reflow them, which we know isn't really a long-term solution, is it? So one of the things did say to hold down, to do the fan test, so hold down the eject button and turn it on at the back. And it's supposed to do this fan test thing. Okay, which it didn't do. Let's try that again. There we go. There you go, oh, it did do it. That's supposed to blow out all the rubbish. Well, that's a handy little thing to know, isn't it? So I suppose if your vents were blocked up, that could possibly blow it out. I think it lasts for 15 seconds. Right, okay, but we've got the flashing red light again. But that is a handy thing to know, isn't it? Just going to get the disc again. Just want to look really closely just to see if we do go to yellow. No, I didn't see yellow, it just went from green to flashing red. Okay, let's take this thing apart, because you never know, it could be just a case that it's overheating. Maybe if there was no thermal paste on it at all, if it's completely dried up, then that could cause that. So I still would have thought it would have lasted a few seconds before turning itself off. But who am I to know? So we're going to have to break the seal here, and let's also take out the hard drive. So it looks like it hasn't been opened before because this seal is intact. Well, on the last one I had to use the special Torx for this, but with this one it's just a crosshead screwdriver. Sorry, a crosshead screw. There we go. That's off. Now I'm just going to undo all the screws here. Yeah, that's interesting. There's an arrow for a screw, but yet there is no screw. Oh, hold on a minute. All the screws are missing. Haha! All the screws are missing, yet the seal was intact, wasn't it? So, that means that this is a fake seal. Ah, do you know, I thought you might be able to get fake seals, because otherwise why would all the screws be missing? That's naughty, isn't it? Well, there we go. So we know now, really, that this is going to be... We know this is going to be unrepairable, I would say, because it means that it's already been looked at, and the person knew enough to know that you could buy fake seals. So that says to me that this has been looked at by somebody in the know, and also somebody who's slightly, possibly a little bit crooked. I'm not saying the one that I bought it from is crooked, but whoever had it before then. Right, there should be a little ribbon cable here if it's anything like the last one. Oh no, because it hasn't got that thing. Right, okay, we've got a good bit of corrosion here, haven't we? Got a nice bit of corrosion there. Yeah, and here as well. Right, so there's definitely been some sort of liquid damage at some stage. This is quite a bit different than my the last one I looked at. I wonder if that's why it's not turning on, because of the corrosion there. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Yeah, the whole thing feels a bit chalky. Yeah, again, can you see here? A lot of corrosion. So the output is 12 volts at 23.5 amps and 5 volts at 0.6 amps. Yeah, and there's a lot of screws missing from around the edge here as well, so this has been completely taken apart. Oh, there we go. Right, there we go. So, is it even worth me going any further? If you have a look, can you see it's had the bodge here where you glue on a couple of washers. Can you see the glue gun here? You glue on some washers to put extra force, extra downward pressure on it. So then so this must have like cracked solder between the board and the actual chips themselves. So if they're BGA chips, they're going to have balls of solder underneath. So if this was a fix, if this worked, it must mean that there's cracked balls of solder, yeah? So I'm not going to spend hours on this one. Still, I want to check the board out to see if there's any shorts or anything. Can you see it's happened on this one here as well? So I suppose by gluing in the extra washers, when you're putting these ones down onto it, it's putting more pressure against the chip, forcing it against the board. So if the board was, let's say, to warp ever so slightly, then by you putting extra pressure down, it would possibly seat those solder joints back together again. But obviously it mustn't be a lasting fix. Unless, of course, there's a chance that this fault is unrelated. Maybe this is actually working. This, this fix here is working, and it might have a different fault now, but I think it's highly unlikely. So that's it out. The fan isn't particularly dusty, but again, there's a lot of corrosion in there, isn't there? A lot of corrosion. Fire in the little... See in there? Very pitted. Right, again I can see more corrosion around the edges. There we go. Right, we're free. Okay, so yeah, the paste has gone hard. Now, okay, you can see all the flux around here. This has been reflowed already. Can you see all the horrible flux around? There you go. You can see when I rub my hand up and down it. So that says to me that the fault is with this chip here, which is the graphics chip again. So, is it worth doing anything with this at all? Well, do you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my multimeter and I'm just going to go across a few of the chips and see if they're shorting or not, and it might give me a better idea for future fixes. Well, I don't really know anything about these boards. I don't really know anything about any board, but it just seems to be shorting in loads of places. And that was the same thing that was happening on the second one that I had. But this one, I think, is not shorting as much as the second one. I don't know what to do with this one. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the flux off, because there's flux everywhere on it. I think I'm going to clean the flux off. I'm going to take off this. I'm going to put new thermal paste on, and just to see if it makes any difference at all. Everything's pretty badly corroded. Let's give everything a clean. So I'm just going to be using IPA and a toothbrush. For I presume what's made the clock, you know, to save all the time and everything, is still showing 3 volts. So hopefully that part of it will be okay. Right, okay, so I've just got rid of most of the horrible flux and stuff like that, and now I'm going to apply thermal paste to it and see if it helps it. If it makes a bit of difference, and I can take it apart again and clean it more thoroughly. But I don't want to waste too much time on it if it's not going to make any difference to it. Right, I've just kind of put dots everywhere on it, so they're only tiny little dots, but hopefully that will all spread out. I just want to see how much that's going to spread out. Obviously it's going to be under a lot more, it's going to be under a lot more force, isn't it? I wonder if I should put a tiny bit more on, or will that spread? Well, this is definitely fine here. I think I'm going to put a dot here, and a little dot there and there, and that should do then. Give these a quick hoover out. Okay, so I've got it back together. Let's see if that's made any difference whatsoever. Plug that in there. I don't really even need to connect it to the TV, but I might as well just out of curiosity. Right, so we'll turn it on at the back. Oh, 1 second, I haven't got it plugged in, hold on. Here we go now. Right, so we've got the red light. Let's see if the on works this time. Yes, that works. No, there you go. Right, it's really not worth me wasting any time with this because it's already been repaired. It's got a problem with the graphics chip. Let's just turn that off again and back on. Yeah, it's not taking the disc in either. It's got a problem with the graphics chip. It's already been repaired. There was a fake void sticker put on it, you know, the warranty sticker. So what's the point of me doing anything with it? I won't be able to reball that chip. I won't be, you know, yes, I could reflow it, but the same thing's going to happen again. I think I'm just wasting my time. And for those of you who watch number 2, you would realise why, because that took me hours and it still didn't get me anywhere. So I think with this one here, I don't want to give away what happened on number 2, but what I'm thinking now is I wonder whether that washer thing would have worked, because these ones seem to have a lot of shorts on them as well, so maybe the shorting thing wasn't actually a problem. You know, I'm not too sure about that, but with this one here, I think personally this machine is only good for spares because there's no dust in it. It's not an overheating issue because I put thermal paste on, and also it's clean. Yeah, there's corrosion on it, but it's definitely clean. But with this one, it's a problem with that GPU, the graphics chip. Just want to see what happens now. At least that on and off's working. Yeah, I mean, it's not, if it was overheating, I think it should at least go on for maybe like 10 seconds or so before it overheats, but it's not. So it's shutting down straight away, probably because it can't see the GPU chip. That's what I think. I'm wondering, would it be worth me, just out of curiosity, putting an even bigger washer in there just to see if that makes a difference? Yeah, I think I'm going to do that quickly. So I'm just going to take it apart, put a bigger washer in, and then put it back together, just out of curiosity. So I won't bother filming that. Actually, I just want to test it. I've just taken out the hard drive. I just want to see what happens, if it makes any difference. No, there you go. And I've definitely seen it went from green to yellow to flashing red. Okay, so just out of curiosity, all I'm doing is putting a 5p piece, so 5 pence, just in here, just to put a load of pressure on it, just to see if that makes any difference. I can't see how it will, because these washers would have already made it really, really tight anyway, but this is just for curiosity, and then I'll call it a day after doing this. I'll put one under here as well. As you can see, it's bulging out. Right, okay, that's it. Let's pop the power cable in, turn it on. We don't even need to connect it to the TV. Let's just see what it's going to do. Here we go. No, there you go. Okay, so it's absolutely pointless spending any more time on this. It needs a new, in my opinion, GPU, because that's what was done beforehand. It looked like it was reflowed before. And the flashing red light, a lot of people online did say that it was to do with the chips as well. So I'm not going to waste any more time on this. It's just not worth it. So unfortunately, that wasn't a very good one. And but what did I learn from it? I learned that you can't always go by the void stickers, because this void sticker looked absolutely perfect. You can see now it says void. It didn't say that before. it says void all over the place, and yet it was obviously taken apart because 80% of the screws were missing. Also, what I learned is that the inside of this is no way near as nice as the backwards compatible version of this one, with the 4 USB ports down the front and the flap that lifts up here. They seem to be a lot nicer on the inside, so this looks to be definitely a cheaper version of that other one. So I don't really want to give away what happened in the other 2 videos because you might not have watched them yet, but was it worth doing it? Well, yes, possibly, maybe not, I'm not sure. Just possibly just about worth doing it. You've got to remember that there was no controllers or cables or anything included in it, but what it has given me is knowledge. But I said on the end of the second one that I would definitely do more of these. I'm not so sure now, and I'll tell you why. It's similar to the Game Gear. All the Game Gear's problems seem to be to do with the screen. So everybody says that, oh, it needs new capacitors. But at the end of the day, most of them have a problem with the screen because of the age of them. I think the Achilles heel of this one is the CPU and the GPU. They seem to be an awful lot of things online about those 2 chips are faulty. And unless you're going to go out and buy professional equipment and spend a lot of money on it, it doesn't seem to be repairable. And it's not worth the price because these are quite cheap now, so it's not worth spending the time, in my opinion, to take it apart, to change those chips, when you consider the price that you can buy these from a high street shop like CEX with a 2-year guarantee. So I'm not so sure if I will be doing more of these. I would like to do a backwards compatible one, so maybe if one of those ones come up, then I might well do that. Now, apologies for my voice in this. I'm coming down with a cold, so my nose is constantly dripping, so that's the reason I sound like I do. So yeah, that was still a relatively interesting one, purely because you can see that somebody in the past has tried to cover up the fact that this is damaged to sell it for more money, which is obviously not a nice thing to do. But obviously this is what happens in the real world, so still quite interesting. So what I've taken away from it is, don't just go by the void stickers, you know, the warranty stickers. Obviously you can get fake ones of them, and there is people out there who do that. So hopefully you enjoyed this video too. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for more Trying to Fix videos. Take care, bye now.